So LeBrons have always been an acquired taste, and I know you could say that for a lot of shoes, but specifically when it comes to LeBrons, they've always felt overwhelming, and that makes sense because they're designed for a 6'8", 265-pound king. So for everyday Joes like myself, LeBron sneakers can feel like a bit much. But recently, Nike has made some of the most user-friendly LeBrons that we have ever seen in his entire signature series. The LeBron 16 was an awesome performing basketball sneaker, and it was my go-to option for a very long time. But this time around with the LeBron 17, I can't help but feel that Nike has actually taken a step back towards how LeBrons used to feel. And that's a bummer because it leaves the average consumer like you and I on the outside looking in when it comes to our personal preferences and what this shoe has to offer to cater to those personal preferences. But what exactly this shoe does that makes me feel that way? Well, let's break it down. So in my first video on these, I mentioned that I didn't really notice a difference between the traction in these and the 16s, and that really surprised me because not only did the 16s have awesome coverage, but the outsole of the LeBron 17 is actually a recipe for disaster. The traction pattern is tight, compact, and flat, and this particular colorway uses a translucent rubber outsole. So again, I was really surprised that initially the traction was really responsive because usually all of these things are typical for a bad traction setup, and as time went on, that actually proved to be the case. On anything other than a clean floor, the outsole just couldn't keep up, and I had multiple instances where I was slipping and sliding no matter how many times I wiped, and this is particularly a big problem because the support in the LeBron 17 needs all the help it could get, and having a less than stellar traction setup just amplifies the extremely fragile support system. Now I say fragile because I feel like it's unfair for me to say that the support in these is bad because I didn't personally run into any major issues with the support system, like say for example, rolling my ankle. But one thing I will say about the LeBron 17 is it really does feel like you're gonna roll your ankle in these. Nike put the largest air unit to ever be in a basketball sneaker in the LeBron 17, so that means your foot is going to sit extremely high off of the ground. And when you first put these on, you're gonna notice it. And to be honest with you, it might actually make you a little bit nervous because this is by far the highest sitting basketball sneaker that I've ever worn, period. Now, like I said earlier, I didn't run into any major problems, and the lateral outrigger and knit posit upper did a decent job from keeping my foot from sliding off of the footbed. And an external heel cup, despite it being a very low profile TPU piece, did a really good job locking down my heel. So while all this is fine and dandy, technically everything here did its job, the issue here is actually security. I never truly felt fully secure in the LeBron 17, and my ankle always felt like it was in danger of rolling over. And that's just not something you want to feel when you're trying to focus on playing basketball. And on top of all of that, the inconsistent traction did not help with this feeling whatsoever. So while technically the support did do its job, like I said, no major issues from my end, I never truly felt fully comfortable. It's like I was walking on a wire in fear of falling off. It was a very thin line that I was walking on here. And it actually reminds me of that scene in The Revenant where Leo had to stay warm, so he slept inside a dead horse's body. I mean, technically it works, he's warm, but it doesn't feel good. There is good news though. The rest of the shoe is actually pretty decent. That large Air Max unit in the heel coupled with 4-foot Max Zoom Air is a very explosive setup that is the definition of maximum cushioning. So if court feel is what you're looking for, these aren't gonna be it. But if you wanna have a little extra pep in your step as well as maximum impact protection, it literally doesn't get any more explosive than this. As for the knit posit material, this is actually the most balanced feature that Nike showcases here. The midfoot and the heel is reinforced with that knit posit tech, which is basically just glue over top a knitted material. But it honestly does a fantastic job at adding more support and rigidity to that knitted upper because the forefoot doesn't have knit posit and it's extremely soft. So without that knit posit tech being strategically placed throughout the upper, I feel like the materials would be too flimsy and the support as a whole would just fall apart altogether. One little nitpick that I do have has to do with the fit. Now, I went true to size and I recommend you do that as well because honestly, the fit is pretty solid. I mean, the midfoot's great, the forefoot's awesome. Like I said earlier, the heel lockdown is fantastic. I don't have a problem with the fit itself, but what I do have a problem with is this lacing system. For some reason, Nike put this huge overlay on the tongue that makes the laces go underneath it, and this honestly makes it a real hassle to adjust the laces, so much so that I would actually give up because it was that annoying. So I really would have liked to see this become a removable feature, but it's not. It's here to stay, and other than visual appeal, it doesn't really serve much of a purpose. So I really would have liked to see Nike do without this because it would make things a whole lot easier, and also it would help reduce the weight because this overlay is a synthetic nubuck material and the LeBrons already clock in at a decent 18.27 ounces. So look, at the end of the day, these just aren't going to be for everyone. Again, like I said in the beginning of the video, LeBrons are an acquired taste, and this shoe is the perfect example of that because how high you sit off the ground, it's really jarring. It was for me at first, but as time went on, I did start to appreciate what the LeBron 17 did do good, and in my estimation, that is the knit posit upper. I think it's awesome, especially for what it is, a knitted material. It's fairly durable as well. And the cushioning system, again, it's not gonna be for everyone. It is pretty explosive, and some people are gonna wanna feel the cord, and you're not gonna get that with these. However, there are some people out there that all they care about is feeling explosive, feeling the cushioning under their feet, and feeling like they're jumping higher. And with the LeBron 17's largest air unit to ever be in any basketball sneaker ever, those type of people are definitely gonna wanna check these out. But the question is, will you? Let me know if you're gonna pick up a pair of the LeBron 17s in the comment section below. And if this review helped you out, please consider dropping this video a like. It takes 1 second and it would make my day. And while you're at it, subscribe to the channel for more sneaker related content just like this. My name's Jaren. It's been great having you. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.